I'd like to take the time today to talk about what I might consider the most important piece of advice for hitters. Many times I'll get asked, if we could only do one drill and we had a half hour to spend in a cage, what is the drill that we should do? And of course the answer depends on what level you're at. Where are you in your training? What certain skill sets do you possess? The one skill set that every baseball player needs is they need a quickness element. And so many times I think training neglects that quickness element. So if I asked you what's the most important moment in time for a push-up, the most important moment in time for a push-up is when I push off the ground. If I ask what's the most important moment in time for a vertical jump, the answer is when I explode off the ground. And the most important moment in time for a hitter is when you slam that front heel into the ground, when you create what's called an impulse. And that impulse is how much force do you produce and how quickly do you produce it, a force-time product. Regardless, that is essential to develop as a hitter. And what I would like to do is I'd like to take the time to show you two of our favorite drills for bat quickness. The one is just simply hitting a wave master, but doing it out of a no stride position. So what we like to do is we like to get that front heel off the ground, because again, the impulse will follow shortly after this front heel slams into the ground. So we don't want, for this drill, we don't necessarily want a leg lift. We want to see how much force we can slam into the ground, and we want to do it as quickly as possible. So when we hit this wave master, we're literally in a stretch position, a very stretched position, the front heel slightly off the ground. And when you're working with someone will say go. If you're not working with someone, you'll have to use your imagination and just do it as quickly as possible. So it looks like this. Essentially, it's plyometrics for a hitter. We're trying to move as fast as possible, and we're trying to create as much force as possible. Sometimes we'll actually measure how far the wave master moves, seeing if we can create a little bit more force into the bag. The other one that we use, more common drill, we call it race to the ball. So we love it when it's one-on-one. It's one batter here and one batter here. And you simply do the same thing. You get your front heel off the ground. You get your front heel off the ground. A coach says, go! And then you try to respond. You try to respond to that ball as quickly as possible. Go! You respond as fast as you can to that ball. First to the ball wins. Now, when you're measuring quickness, one of the things that would be absolutely awesome is if you could measure someone's quickness. And there are certain ways to do that. I don't have stock in Coach's Eye, but I like one of their features. They have a timer on the Coach's Eye app. And you can measure when your front heel slams into the ground until you hit that ball. So if you can somehow continue to progress, continue to train, try and minimize that time, that wraps up so many essential pieces of the hitting puzzle. Essentially, it's telling you how quickly do you get the ball. It wraps in your bat speed factor. It wraps up your bat path factor, right? So many times we work with players trying to prevent that back elbow from collapsing. So being direct to the ball will also tie in that little time component. So Coach's Eye has a feature that allows you to measure. I'm not convinced it's as precise as it could be, but it is out there, something that you can measure. There are some other things you can do. In the facility, we measure frames on a camera. But, if you really want to get down to the bare basics of it, having a quick swing is essential. And a quick swing isn't necessarily how fast or how hard do you hit a ball. It's how efficient are you to that ball. So those are two of our favorite. We work them out of a no stride position, race to the ball, and then just impact the wave master.